Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022 to 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2050 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047. In collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating and commemorating various international and national commemorations and celebrations. Today is commemorated as International Albinism Awareness Day on 13th June every year, with the theme demanding our rights, protect our skin, preserve our lives. Albinism is a genetic condition inherited from both parents that occurs worldwide, regardless of ethnicity or gender. The common lack of melanin pigment in the hair, skin, and eyes of people with albinism causes vulnerability to sun exposure, which can lead to skin cancer and severe visual impairment. As many as 1 in 5,000 people in sub-Saharan Africa and 1 in 20,000 people in Europe and North America have albinism. So the 2025 theme highlights the urgent need to prevent skin cancer in persons with albinism through awareness, screenings, and sunscreen access. The risk of skin cancer is exclusively high for persons with albinism, and the lack of access to sunscreen protective gear, as well as skin cancer screening and treatment, can lead to foreseeable yet preventable deaths. Skin cancer is the primary cause of death for persons with albinism in the South African region, rendering sunscreen an essential medicine, not a cosmetic product. The majority of national action plans of albinism adopted by the governments include measures to enhance access to sunscreen, protective clothing, and regular dermatological checkups and skincare treatments. Several countries have initiatives providing free or subsidized sunscreen and sun protective clothing, access to dermatological services, and skin cancer screening, detection and treatment and awareness campaigns to educate persons with albinism and their families about the importance of sun protection. Studies published on the impact of such intervention have shown that these interventions were implemented have significantly improved the health outcomes of persons with albinism. So 10th anniversary of the mandate, the year 2025 also marks the 10th anniversary of the establishment of mandate on the enjoyment of human rights by persons with albinism. In commemoration of the milestone, in her report of the current mandate holder, Muluka Annie Malti-Drumo provides the overview of progress made in implementation of the rights of persons with albinism worldwide over the last decade. The independent expert also outlines persisting challenges and makes recommendations for the continued advancement of the rights of the persons with albinism. So albinism is a rare, non-contagious, genetically inherited difference present at birth in almost all types of albinism. Both parents must carry the gene for it to be passed on, even if they do not have albinism themselves. The condition is found in both sexes, regardless of ethnicity, and in all countries of the world. Albinism results in lack of pigmentation, melanin, in the hair, skin, and eyes, causing vulnerability to the sun and bright light. As a result, almost all people with albinism are visually impaired and are prone to developing skin cancer. There is no cure for the absence of melanin that is central to albinism. While numbers vary, it is estimated that in North America and Europe, 1 in every 17,000 to 20,000 people have some form of albinism. The condition is much more prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, with estimates of 1 in 1,400 people being affected in Tanzania, and prevalence as high as 1 in 1,000 reported for select populations in Zimbabwe and other specific ethnic groups in Southern Africa. So, health challenges of people living with albinism. The lack of melanin means persons with albinism are highly vulnerable to developing skin cancer. In some countries, a majority of persons with albinism die from skin cancer between 30 and 40 years of age. Skin cancer is highly preventable when persons with albinism enjoy their rights to health. These include access to regular health checkups, sunscreen, sunglasses, and sun protective clothing in a significant number of countries. These life-saving means are unavailable or inaccessible to them. Consequently, the realm of development measures persons with albinism are among those left farthest behind. Therefore, they ought to be targeted for human rights interventions in the manner envisioned by the Sustainable Development Goals. Due to lack of melanin in the skin and eyes, persons with albinism often have permanent visual impairment. They also face discrimination due to their skin color. As such, they are often subject to multiple and intersecting discrimination on the grounds of both disability and color. So June 12th is also commemorated as World Day Against Child Labor. With the theme, progress is clear, but there's more to do. Let's speed up the efforts. The 2025 World Day will focus on a key milestone, the release of the 2025 Global Estimates and Trends of Child Labor. This joint report by the International Labour Organization ILO and the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF will offer a comprehensive assessment of the global progress towards the elimination of child labor. Although the detailed data are yet to be available, the estimates and trends identified will guide policy, debates, and calls to renewed commitment and investment. On this World Day, ILO calls for full ratification of ILO Convention 138 on the minimum age and implementation of ILO Convention number 182 on the worst forms of child labor. Their effective ratification and implementation remain essential to achieving the goals set by Durban Call to Action, which are just to aim for strengthened prevention, protection, and partnerships to eliminate child labor. Now is the time to make elimination of child labor a reality. So, when we look at the prevalence of child labor since 2000, for nearly 2 decades, the world have been making steady progress in reducing child labor. But over the past few years, conflicts, crisis, and COVID-19 pandemic have plunged more families into poverty and forced millions more children into child labor. Economic growth has not been sufficient nor inclusive enough to relieve the pressure that too many families and communities feel and that makes them resort to child labor. Today, 160 million children are still engaged in child labor, that is almost 1 in 10 children worldwide. Africa ranks highest among regions, both in percentage of children in child labor, 1/5, and the absolute number of children in child labor, 72 million. Asia and Pacific rank second highest in both these measures, 7% of all children, and 62 million in absolute terms are in child labor in this region. The Africa and Asia and the Pacific regions together account for almost 9 out of every 10 children in child labor worldwide. The remaining child labor population is divided among the Americas, 11 million, Europe and Central Asia, 6 million, and the Arab states, 1 million. In terms of incidence, 5% of the children are in child labor. In the Americas, 4% in Europe and Central Asia, and 3% in Arab states. While the percentage of children in child labor is the highest in low-income countries, their numbers are actually greater in the middle-income countries. 9% of all children in lower middle-income countries and 7% of all children in upper middle-income countries are in child labor. Statistics on the absolute number of children in child labor in each national income grouping indicate that 84 million children in child labor, accounting for 56% of all those in child labor, actually live in middle income countries, and additional 2 million live in high income countries. Today is also commemorated as Vision Rehabilitation Week. Today is also commemorated as World Softball Day on June 13th each year in cities across the United States. However, the day is not just about promoting softball. It's about promoting physical activity for good health. World Softball Day also nurtures the spirit of sportsmanship and social integration. The day inspires future generations of girls and boys to seek excellence and inspire empowerment from sports. This is a great day to go back to sports, encourage those around us, especially children, to pursue sports seriously. Softball has been a favorite among Americans, and we hope it will continue to be so far for many years to come. Today is also commemorated as Random Acts of Life Day on June 13th in US. As part of Leukemia and Lymphomia Society's Light, the Night Walks fundraising campaign, Random Acts of Light is celebrated every year. This day encourages us to do random act of kindness to bring light into the life of someone suffering from cancer. People observe the day by volunteering at hospitals, reading up on the treatments and cures for blood cancer patients, or joining the Leukemia and Lymphomia Society's Light, the night walks to raise funds and increase awareness about leukemia and lymphomia. Random Acts of Light Day aims to make the world a kinder place for cancer patients and their families. Today is also commemorated as National Video Garden Day in US. Every year, June 13th is observed as National Video Garden Day. Every good gardener knows that weeding is essential to gardening, as watering the plants or enriching the soil with fertilizers. Weeds grow very fast, and if you are inattentive, they might even deprive other plants of nutrition and space. We recommend weeding regularly since it can become overwhelming if the garden is left unattended for long periods. So you can also keep weed growth in check by using weed-free soil and not letting weeds to go to seed. Today is also commemorated as National Sewing Machine Day in US. Names like Elias Hovi, Isaac Singer mean if you have ever taken a home easy course or even worn clothes, or for that matter, an SCPW class, they should. These two gentlemen are credited with invention of the modern sewing machine, while the wheel, telephone, and personal computer get a lot of glory for changing how humans live. The sewing machine is somewhat of an unsung hero. Without it, however, we would still be squinting to thread needles and stitching together our shirts and suits by hand. Whether you want a simple set of curtains to block out the bright sun, or just aren't satisfied by shopping off the rack, sewing machines are handy appliances that deserve accolades. Dream up with some curtain culture and celebrate National Sewing Machine Day on June 30th. Today is also commemorated as National Productivity Business Civility Day on June 13th, celebrated, founded by Professor Vernet A. Joseph in 2020 to raise awareness about the power of productive business. This day is dedicated to increasing productiveness. Today, people from all over the world and various industries engage in productive business practices and maximize their relationships, collaboration, and partnerships for better economic development and engagement. Today is also commemorated as National Dance Movement Therapy Advocacy Day in US. which is celebrated every June 13 to educate more people about new and unique form of psychotherapy called dance movement therapy, making waves around the world. It addresses mental health by honing in on the body movement and dance as a natural expression that aids physical and psychological healing. Furthermore, it's a holistic therapy that believes that the mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, and the changes in the body reflect changes in the mind, and vice versa. Numerous peoples have benefited from this form of therapy worldwide, and many more are starting to practice it each day. So, dance movement therapy (DMT) emerged as a field in 1940s as early innovators, many of whom are accomplished dancers, realized the extensive benefits of using dance and movement as a form of psychotherapy. The American Dance Therapy Association (ADTA) defines it as a psychotherapeutic use of movement to promote emotional, social, cognitive, and physical integration of the individual for the purpose of improving health and well-being. The idea of dance as a therapy is related to the former dance educator and performer Marin Chase, who shifted her focus from the dance techniques to education to her students' individual movement communications and expressions. After World War II, she was invited to work at Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C., where she was tasked with working with withdrawn, shutdown, and mute patients. She also worked with many war veterans. Her reputation for using dance as a means of communication and expression became widely known as she successfully reached nonverbal patients. She managed to break down their barriers through the power of movement, physical interaction, and dance by playing music, interacting with patients by mirroring their movements, establishing eye contact, engaging in physical contact, and waiting to the rhythmic steps. Today is also commemorated as National Chamoy Day in US to honor delicious, versatile condiment that raves over. It is a saucy condiment made of dried chilies, lime juice, and fruit, usually mango, apricot, or plum. You might have seen it drizzled on top of some refreshing fruit over nachos, mixed with cocktails, and even served as a dipping sauce. Overall, it is a condiment that goes well with several other foods. Today is also commemorated as National Blame Someone Else Day on Friday, first Friday of the 13th of the year, which is June 13, 2025, marks National Blame Someone Else Day. Don't be blamed that day for anything that goes wrong anyway. If you must leave the house today, go ahead and plan your best stories of how someone else or something might be at fault for whatever happens. So we all had plenty of practice, so it shouldn't be a wildly daunting task, but read on if you need a little more inspiration. So blaming others goes way back. In fact, it started with the first couple when Adam blamed Eve for the entire apple indulging incident. He even took it a step further to blame God, since after all, God did create Eve in the Christianity, though it is not applicable to other religions. They believe that, and clearly this would not have happened if God hadn't made women. So Adam sure is a tough act to follow, but plenty of people have attempted to raise the bar in blaming others throughout the centuries. Fridays have long been considered an unlucky day in the Christianity, and the number 13 has been considered an unlucky number. However, superstitions that Friday the 13th is an especially unlucky day did not garner attention until 19th century. So there are a lot of superstitions in every religion as such, especially in the Western religions, because they don't back up with scientific, and they generally follow the other religions without scientific basis, and because their rationale is something different, which is unscientific. Because of that, even the other religions are getting blamed, because they follow without understanding the science behind those practices. Today is also commemorated as Maharana Pratap Jayanti on June 13th in India, which is celebrated in the northern and western states of India, particularly Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan on June 13th, according to Hindu calendar. The king's birthday is on the 3rd of day of month of Jeshta, which is June 13 in the Gregorian calendar. Maharana Pratap Jayanti is considered in the honor of great Rajput ruler of the 16th century who stood up against the might of the Mughal Empire. Maharana Pratap has also inspired Rajputana culture, warfare, and scientific thinking. His presence is still greatly felt in the architecture and traditions of Rajasthan. Maharana Pratap was born in 1540. He was born to King Maharana Uday Singh II, the ruler of the kingdom of Mewar. At the time, capital of Mewar kingdom was Chittor. He was the eldest of the king's children and was anointed the crown prince. In 1567, Chittor was attacked by the formidable forces of the Mughal Empire under the leadership of Emperor Akbar. The forces managed to force Maharana Uday Singh II to leave Chittor and relocate to Gogunda. Maharana Uday Singh II died in 1572, and after facing some resistance from one of his siblings, Pratap Singh became ascended to the throne and became the Maharana of Mewar. His desire to win back Chittor would become the most endeavor of his life. He declined several peace treaties with Akbar and refused to give up the independence of the Mewar kingdom. He fought bravely against the superior Mughal forces but never relinquished his power. However, he could never win back Chittor. He was greatly admired by the Emperor Akbar for his steadfast principles. It was believed that Maharana Pratap was more than 7 feet tall. He would wear body armor of more than 70 kilos and a spear weighing 80 kilos, and he had 11 wives and 22 children. His eldest son, Maharana Amar Singh I, went to become his successor and the 14th king of Mewar dynasty. Maharana Pratap died in 1597 after being injured in a hunting incident. He is remembered for his imitable honor and love for his people. Today is also commemorated as International Axe Throwing Day on June 13, it encourages axe throwers, both professional and amateur, from all over the world to gather to celebrate and promote the urban sport. This day aims to inspire sporty people to participate in a unique, enjoyable pastime, reduce tension, and simply have a good time with their friends and family members. Axe throwing clubs all across the world would be opening their doors to anyone interested in trying out the sport for free. After years of being used to chop down trees and fight in combat, the common axe has been transformed into centerpiece of a fun-filled pastime that does not entail destroying forests or getting into scrapes with other participants. Axe throwing is indeed a sport in which the objective is to strike a target with nothing but an axe, as the name implies. Like with darts, the participant aims for the bullseye on a huge target. Today is also commemorated as National School Grounds Week from June 13th to 17th in UK. Annually, it advocates for outdoor play and learning for children and appreciates the tireless work of countless ground keepers who work hard to maintain the grounds. The UK Children Charity Learning Through Landscapes organizes National School Grounds Week, which strives to increase the duration of outdoor play for children, thus allowing them to connect to the natural environment and be physically active. Through play, children learn the value of hard work and increase their self-esteem and social skills. Today is also commemorated as National Hermit Week from June 13 to 20, 2025 in US. National Hermit Week is held every year to celebrate being by yourself and finding the joy in being alone. People are great, partying is great, so is going out and socializing just great. But it is difficult to make time for ourselves in today's fast-paced world. We are constantly bombarded by external stimuli, whether it is in the online or offline world. Unwind the National Hermit Week by prioritizing yourself and doing literally whatever you want to do. So it's time to get away from the hustle and bustle of it all by recharging your batteries and engaging in some much needed me time. Today is also commemorated as National Clay Week from June 13th to 19th in US. During this week, the pottery and ceramics communicate, celebrate the multipurpose use of clay. People attend lectures, watch demos, talk to vendors, and sign up for pottery classes. The annual National Council on the Education for the Ceramic Arts and CECA conference is also held this week. National Clay Week also raises awareness of educational and professional opportunities related to pottery and ceramics. This week also celebrates the beautiful artifacts made with clay. Objects have monetary, cultural, and artistic value. And there's also a focus on how material possessions are important to us and the value they convey. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us in today's commemorations. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which is being shared in the form of polls. Before leaving the platform. So at 7 o'clock, in the next 20 minutes, we'll be having another meeting, national webinar on financial literacy and sustainable development with different joining link. The joining link has been circulated in different WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. We request everyone to join it by 6:45. So you can continue to fill up the feedback form. After filling it up, you may leave and join that meeting. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time with this same joining link with different commemorations and celebrations. Take care. Good night.